I wanted to capture the fact that it's very much about the South Island of New Zealand. I'm very proud to be of this place. And the fact that we start at Cape Farewell and travel through the South Island Mountains to Slope Point just seemed appropriate, a name linked to that.
I'm not sure I really have a good answer. What is the main reason that I wanted to do this?
Quite enjoy back-to-back 18-hour days.
I don't know, there's a lot of unknowns in this one, which is, I guess, what makes it exciting.
A little bit challenging from here.
It'll be painful, good to watch hopefully, but rewarding.
You know, it's the year of COVID and everyone's stuck in New Zealand and no one can travel. So I thought if there was ever a chance to get all the best riders in New Zealand into an event, this was it. Tour Te Waipounamu as a race has come about through a bunch of ideas coming together. I kind of came up with this idea that it'd be really cool to go down the length of the South Island and trying to join a bunch of stuff together that partly I'd done previously a long time ago and partly the bits that I hadn't done that I'd like to go to do.
Bikepacking is where you're fully self-contained, you put all your gear on your bike. It's very simplistic. So you might have a spare change of clothes to get into at night and a frame bag in the middle which has got all your gear that you need for repairs and stuff. I usually carry a cooker, safety gear, first aid kit and your sleeping roll.
Bikepacking for me is freedom, adventure, expression and community, actually. The bikepacking community. Even in the races and the brevets, it's just a beautiful group of people.
I met Brian in, I think it was the third Kiwi brevet that I did. Caught up with Brian and Steve Halligan at the other side of the Mongatapu, and we ended up doing just about all of the Kiwi brevet together. And that was when I first met Brian and learned a bit about him. Realised he was a bit of a stickler for detail, so I figured if he's organising an event like this, it would be pretty well done.
There's a bunch of bikepacking events around the world at the moment which are really trying to get into the mountain biking terrain and off the dirt road, and there's some that famously do it really well, like the Colorado Trail Race and the Highland Trail Race in particular. And so having had some experience with those courses, it's like, I think we can emulate something like that in New Zealand.
It started really early on. It must have been early to mid 2000s, where there were murmurs on this bike website called Vorb. It was a quite active cycling forum back then, and someone posted up on there this amazing ride. It was kind of mind-blowing how long it was. It was the Great Divide, and a lot of people were active on that Vorb community, one of them being Simon Kennett, who was really a pioneer of bikepacking in New Zealand. And he was one of the brave ones who signed up for this Great Divide, and he went over there and he crushed it, and he did amazing and kind of proved that these things weren't just dreaming, that we could do them. And it was those early Kiwi brevets that Simon and his brothers set up and ran that really helped me catch the bug, and from then it was more Kiwi brevets, a Great Southern Brevet, and then ultimately the Tour Divide, which I raced in 2012 and had the record for a few months. An amazing adventure that's kind of life-defining. Now it's been a bit of a change in focus, and it's really cool to have this opportunity to ride the Tour Te Waipounamu and to reconnect with a big adventure like that. That's kind of ominous and unprecedented.
Came across the second Kiwi brevet in 2012, and I saw that this event was on. I was like, oh my God, I'd never heard of this. I'd never heard of bikepacking, and I've never heard of these events. And I saw this event and I was like, that's me, that's what I want to do. I started following some of the other events like the Tour Divide. I followed Ollie when he did the Tour Divide in 2012. And so from then on, I started doing lots of bikepacking. And in 2016, my wife suggested that it would be a good time to go and do the Tour Divide before I got too old for it. And so I committed to going to that. And I finished in 5th overall in 16 and a half days. So that was amazing. It's an amazing event, and it's an incredible course.
You're not racing the people, you're sort of racing the course. So that's, to me, that's quite an important difference.
I injured my knee 4 weeks ago, overextended it doing a bike carry. That's a bit of training, and then I woke up with a stiff neck on Monday.
Oh, body's pretty good actually. Gotten a few longer rides in the last few weeks, and mine's been ready for a couple of weeks now. Just really keen to just get stuck in and get it underway, get the adventure going.
Oh, the mine's not too bad. The body could probably do with a little bit more work, but it's holding up all right.
I've limited the field to 50. The course goes through a lot of private land, and I wanted to make sure I could secure that access and have trust in the people I was dealing with. And also it goes through quite a few really small towns, and more than that could easily overwhelm shops and Resupply. I'm really keen to see as many women involved as possible, and I went out and asked a number of women who I knew and asked them to ask their friends, and I've really encouraged that.
Yeah, not too bad.
Really good, excited, nervous, all of the above.
We've been up and done a few sections of the course, and then just done lots of exploring, so it's been a good excuse to go ride a lot during the summer.
Last minute carbo loading. I've been so hungry lately, I'm just eating non-stop. It's been so much preparation, so much time organising logistics and thinking about this and that and covering eventualities. Really keen just to ride now. Oh, the body's mostly good. Getting a little bit older, you never know what might kind of, there's a few little creaks here and there, but that's managing all of that stuff as part of this type of event, so yeah. Yep, I'll be right.
Stole your food.
You stole my cookies.
Oh no.
A whole big bag of them. I'm going to be hungry now. My background's mainly adventure racing. Based on what I know of this course, I think it's going to be fairly similar to adventure racing style riding, only longer. So adventure racing style riding, you have the mix of quite easy terrain and then really hard terrain where there's no track at all. So I'd say it's going to be harder than anything I've done before. The fact that it's by yourself rather than a team is sort of the big thing that sticks in my mind as to why it's going to be difficult for me personally.
Thanks to all those people, but mostly thanks to everyone that has decided to turn up. Even the North Islanders made it. It's all right. Can't be much of a disaster. You made it on time, so that's a good effort. It's quite clear from the notes and from the GPS track what I'm intending you to ride. I've said we're playing international rules, so no drafting after Collingwood. That's up to each and every one of you to be respectful of that. So tomorrow morning we will, just getting down from Cape Farewell just here, you probably all saw the sign, just down to the gravel road. I'll just make that neutral just because it's safe.
Time for a cup of tea. Chocolate milkshake maybe.
It all fitted in yesterday.
Yeah, thanks very much.
I guess it's a bit of a boy's own adventure, as you know, way to escape the rat race. I just usually go into it with an open mind and just see how it pans out. Yeah, but I'm not going to try and kill myself in order to be ultra competitive.
Does it hurt?
That's a good question. At times I think it hurts, but overall, you don't. I mean, if somebody was trying to make you hurt that way, yeah, it would hurt. But when you're doing it yourself, it just seems like fun. So there's going to be some big days with no food.
A little bit challenging from here.
Sounds like there's going to be a bit of bike carrying, which is not. I don't know who likes that kind of stuff. So that'll be a challenge.
Ooh, hey, but good time. 34.17 might not have been the most intelligent choice.
Many of them would have ridden other events in New Zealand, and parts of the course follow either very similar terrain or the same terrain that other events go through.
Lovely day.
So the first 300 odd Ks and the last 300 odd Ks will be quite familiar to people.
Oh, we're having fun already.
Just a water stop, or are you going for coffee?
No, water stop. I love a coffee, but another time. Ideal conditions. Loving this cloud. And maybe a rest at the roadworks.
I'd been working in Antarctica and I got back right before COVID got real bad and just decided to stay on here, which was a nice decision. I'm pretty happy to be here. Yeah, felt pretty lucky, that's for sure.
I actually I took up mountain biking to meet Brenda to become reacquainted with her. Time on the bike's pretty precious to us. We don't get it all the time, so when we can get some time for it, we really want to enjoy it.
Learning how to cope without coffee for a couple of days.
Oh.
Or even a beer.
Or even a beer.
Yeah.
Time for coffee. Missed the river crossing.
In the northern third of the course, I tried to stay in places where there was forest cover and bush cover. I wanted to kind of stay in the green as much as possible, as much for contrast from what's coming as anything else.
Well, we come over to shift some irrigation pipes, and we thought we'd do it the quick way, say bring the tractor and trailer would bring the old truck. Now we're stuck with a truck, so but fortunately we have a tractor over here anyway, which will hook us out in a few minutes, hopefully. So there you go. As my dad used to say, the longest way home is generally the quickest.
It's really good. Love it. What's the time of the day?
It's 10 to 4.
Yeah, I would have thought I was going to be through a bit earlier, but hey,
Doing
that's
all
what
right.
night time's for. Yeah. Probably my first real bikepacking trip was the inaugural Tour Te Waipounamu, which went from Cape Reinga to Bluff. And I'd just come off doing a 7-day stage mountain bike race called the Pioneer, and that was an inaugural event from Christchurch through to Queenstown, and that was racing, like just stages. So I had said to my partner Peg that I don't particularly want to race this, but let's just ride for as long as we can each day and enjoy it. So that's what we did, and I think we did it in about 15 and a half days. We were riding anywhere from 150 to 250 k's a day. So yeah, it was really good.
Going?
Good, mate.
I'm going to put my feet up.
How are you going?
Oh yeah, not too bad.
Good.
Martin had a puncher
Oh.
going up the hill. Big bush. Haven't seen him since then, so just doing my own thing. I'm not going to hang around too much. I think I'll get some water and truck on. What's
Yeah,
the
mate.
time?
7.
Oh yeah,
12 hours?
yeah, it's not bad, eh?
How much more?
Oh, till my legs fall off. I'd be happy with 300 for the day. And Martin's broken his shoe too. He was going to divert to mop, but they didn't have the right size, so he just got some glue and taped it up and soldering on.
Good on him.
Yeah.
Alright mate, leave you to it.
Sweet.
So it's the end of day one, about 235 k's in, sort of the upper sections of the Parika track, and some really nice riding, everything from single track up the Ramika track out of Takaka, Batten Saddle. I haven't been up there before, so great first day. Finished it with a really nice climb over a pylon track just as the sun was going down. So yeah, pretty straightforward today, obviously a lot more challenging stuff to come.
I stopped for just over 2 hours and I probably slept for an hour and a half. Oh yeah, fucking good. I've always sort of biked, you know, growing up as a kid, have a bike and that, but never racing or really into it. I was always just playing football. I came here in 2008. And after 1 year, I think I bought my first bike in New Zealand. Started entering a few races, like just cross-country races here in Hanmare and locally. Then I heard about the Kiwi Brevet, which, as you know, Rob, is the 1100 kilometre around the top of the South Island. I think I finished in 4 or 5 days that first time. Before doing that, I was like thinking 1100 kilometres, wow, that's incredible. Then I think it was Tour Te Waipounamu, the 3000 kilometres, so yeah, they've got longer. The Tour Divide is 4,400 kilometres, and I've done one in Australia, 6,400 kilometres, and that's as far as I went distance-wise. Yeah, it's been quite the journey for me.
So in New Zealand, normally with the events, resupplies are pretty frequent and you don't really have to think about planning more than 12 hours out would be a maximum, and usually a lot less. Whereas this, most people, they'll be thinking about 36 hours of what they need for food, and some people that might be longer. Having a good understanding of that is going to be really critical. And if you do that and then you go straight into another section, which for most people will be 24 hours again.
Dot watching allows the whole family and friends to get involved and enjoy the experience. But as a bike packer yourself, you can start to live the event a little bit through your friends that are doing the event. looking at some of the astronomical numbers that some of the lead riders are doing, and you can almost picture some of the struggles that bikepackers are having on certain parts of the route. Rachel, who we've ridden with quite a bit, just left Murchison, and she's doing very well. And then another friend, Andrew, who's come over the Moruya saddle. He's aiming to get to Boyle River tonight for his resupply. I should be working now, but this does become a little bit all-consuming, which is not good. But yeah, just don't tell the boss.
I wanted to be here by midnight, but it was so much headwind. I had a few troubles. I ripped my tire and I broke my shoe.
So is there a plan today?
To go over the castle, down to Hamilton Hut, out to Medfin, get some proper food and keep riding somewhere. I'm Martin Strelka. I grew up in Czech Republic. I'm born and raised in Prague. I'm living in New Zealand for 6 years and we based in Nelson for the last 5. It feels like home. Grew up riding bikes, riding cross-country bikes. I was always interested in endurance sports and adventure racing. Figured out that bikepacking, I don't know, could be way to go. I gave it a shot and it was pretty good. If I'm gonna enter an event that's a race, I wanna be at the very sharp end of the race field. I just don't see much of other reason why otherwise to race. Like if you're not trying to win or like doing your best you can, why would you go and race?
Hi there, this is the Plotter's Post on day 2. It's actually the start of day 3 because we got to this hut pretty late last night. Really varied day yesterday. We started with the really nice climb over Moruya Saddle, beautiful beech forest, and we went from cruising the state highway over Lewis Pass with trucks and cars flying past us to riding a really challenging single track through here. It's really just a tramping route, and some really nice riding in places, but a lot of creek guts and fallen trees and steep little bits that a tramper can just scramble up and down really easily, but quite a different proposition with a bike. We're only 9k's into a 250k leg, so plenty more of that to come. So yeah, it's going to be a challenging couple of days.
A lot of the paths we're following are linking trails of people that have gone before. You know, whether the Waipounamu trails from the Maori, or they are trails from 19th century farmers driving their stock over the mountains.
My background's not entirely cycling. I started off as more of a runner, an orienteer. So I guess my love of cycling has kind of come from that, and a love of the outdoors in general. And cycling is a way to explore places a little bit faster than on foot. I think I've got quite a conservative strategy, although I say that, but then I'm also very competitive, and when it comes down to it, I'll probably just go as hard as I can for as long as I can, which is what I do in most races, and it's pretty hard to contain that once that you know that that's how you are.
Would you like a cup of hot tea or a hot drink or anything? I'm providing hot drinks. It's my chance to pay back. I've had lots of good trail angeling experiences myself, and I just happen to have the time off now that I'm not riding in this crazy adventure.
That was pretty hard, I think. Yep, that's probably the best word to describe it. It was very adventure racing feeling. Definitely, especially over that over the mountain this morning. I thought about leaving my bike behind, I have to be honest. But then I realised that would have been even worse. So yeah, no, it was pretty challenging. Well, a few people have made it over. I'm not sure I really have a good answer. What is the main reason that I wanted to do this? Probably because I wanted something to do. Something to keep me busy over summer, something to focus on. I've got a bit sick of adventure racing. That's another, maybe that's the main reason. I've got a bit sick of adventure racing and I wanted something to do. And it allowed me to work on an area of skills and sort of physical strength as well that maybe isn't my original background. So coming from running, it's great to focus on cycling for 6 months or a year to see how that goes. I'm a bit concerned about the sort of strength side of things. I've done lots of bike carrying, but it's definitely not my, I'm not that strong upper body strength, so that comes into it a lot, and there is a limit to most things, but mentally, well, you can do it no matter, you know, if you're not strong enough, I'll take your bike to pieces and carry it in pieces.
Yeah, full on from the start to the finish. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it differs for every race. For this one, you probably would like to time it that way so you're doing the hardest section in daylight. The hard hike a bike and carry a bike sections would be so much faster if you're doing it in the daylight. There's gonna be sections that's gonna be fairly easy going and fast going, and there's gonna be a lot of, especially at the middle part of the race, would be a lot of slow going case. So I think it will be like mentally hard for everybody to move that slow, and the rest of it, I think it doesn't really matter. Keep going and you sleep where you need to sleep.
The middle section from around Lewis Pass till you get down to Tekapo is the part that's going to be different. There's going to be parts of the course where there's literally no ground trail to follow. So the only thing you have to follow will be your GPX track and a good sense of reading the terrain. The other thing is there's basically that section between those two parts, there's one town in the middle for Resupply. It's 400 or 500 Ks and there's one spot to buy food along the way. And so for some people that's going to be 2 days, buy some food, and then maybe even another whole day.
As you're in the race or the race or the brevet, you're kind of problem solving as you go. You're always kind of thinking about, what's next, where's the next service, or if you have some mechanical issues. Yeah, it's problem solving. I guess I do enjoy it. I'll have a basic strategy, but nothing set in stone. Like I normally sleep a few hours each night. Sometimes I do an all-nighter, but I won't have a set strategy as such.
Hi there, this is the plotter's post for day 3, or a frosty morning of day 4 in daylight. This is Anderson's hut, high up in the Mount White Station headwaters. Epic day yesterday. From the time we left the hut, the riding through the beech forest in the Hope Valley really improved. We quickly got over the saddle to Lake Sumner, over another climb to Lake Mason, and then to some really expansive high country before we took on the monster of the Dampier Range. The 4 of us riding together in the afternoon, we decided we wouldn't make a call on whether we'd go over it or not until we got to the bottom. We'd hoped to be there by 3, but we left at 3:30. We were all keen to take it on, and we got over with about half an hour of daylight to spare. We all had good light, so we would have been fine, but it was pretty tricky up there. The track was hard to find in places. Kept struggling looking at my nav to keep the little arrow on the blue line, and super steep, just an epic climb.
Yeah, my stomach was churning all day. Eating protein bars and bananas, which I normally really love, especially during a bikepacking event, and it just felt like shit really. But you gotta eat to kind of fuel the body. And here in Methven, I'm trying to get my shoes sorted that were falling apart after all the hike and bike. Wrong decision, really. Do you have any glue you can
yeah, I've got some glue.
My shoes are glued to this super glue.
The super glue.
Okay. You too.
Yeah, no worries. So, yeah.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Try and enjoy it.
Happy dot watching.
Yeah, I will.
I can remember the first sort of proper bike that I had, which was a warehouse hardtail, but I trashed that to pieces. I remember I did a mountain bike orienteering race on it, and I managed to break both axles and half the spokes. Took it into the bike shop. I said, "What on earth have you been doing on this thing? It's not designed for what you're doing on it."
Hey, my name is Stefan. If I don't do bike rides, I work as a bike mechanic in Methven, Mount Hutt at Big Al's at a bike shop, which is quite handy if you do a lot of bike riding. It's good to know what you have to do on bikes. Well, she snapped off her axle, she cut her tires, she got a new tire, and then her rear brake stopped working when? Yesterday?
Maybe 2 days ago.
Maybe 2 days ago. So we want to try to get her back on 2 brakes instead of just 1.
Oh. Have a good one, guys.
Okay, see ya.
So it's Steve Butterworth, and we're all on Karate Monkeys. Stealth Monkey because it's got no paint on it. The other guys are purple and yellow.
I'm the Ko-Fi Monkey, so I'm yellow, yeah.
Waipounamu monkey, a Southerly karate monkey, fully rigid, single speed. Yeah, good fun.
Hey, well done for organising this. Well done for riding it too.
Oh, I just need some real food.
Mate, this is absolutely physically brutal, yet so goddamn bloody epic. I'm loving it.
It's slow and it's really hard, but it's kind of what I did with my brother for years as well, so it wasn't too bad. Feeling pretty good. Slight niggle in the back of the knee, but that was expected by now. And then otherwise, surprisingly good, actually. Like, still got plenty of energy left. But see how I feel when I get over the next range, yeah? That's the big one.
This morning we descended off Cass Saddle in, what was it? By the time we started descending, 5 in the morning. It's pitch black, and I rode down with Liam. And he's on his bikepacking bike, and it's ludicrously steep and full-on beach forest riding. And he rolled pretty much everything in the dark with a loaded bike. It's like, it was hard to walk down. I was just like, you gotta be kidding me, man. It was very impressive.
Cass Saddle was amazing.
Yeah.
It's like the old French enduro racing.
Oh yeah,
Reminded me exactly of that sort of stuff. It was so good. Made me really happy. I set the bike up like this. Super minimal.
Yeah, you got to be. Yeah. The middle section of the course gets into what I'd call the high country. So big river valleys that often have high country stations, farms in them, with high passes which can be exposed to really bad weather, like weather that'll stop you and you'll have to wait it out. There's no, that could happen to people. And then the southern third of the course is into the big Otago landscapes, which are dry, quite barren. So probably 3 distinct aspects to it.
I always like to ride into the night, often to midnight or past it. If I'm feeling good, I'll just keep going. Listen to my body is the main thing. I don't think I'm super competitive. I always say fun first and then racing after, but I do enjoy the competitiveness.
Martin's bike, but no Martin.
I was on the top of Stagsted. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make it here before 9 p.m. yesterday, and I'm gonna make it here before 9 p.m. and I'm riding down. And I had like, I don't know, like 3 flat tires. I was trying to ride carefully, but I was just slow going. And yeah.
What shoes do you wear?
Well,
you don't know yet.
Don't really mind hiking in my cycling shoes. And so lately I'm riding in a Shimano shoes, in like a cross-country shoes, but they're fairly alright to walk in. So I think I'm gonna just use this pair of shoes. So I cracked my left riding shoe. So I'm riding in my running shoes. When so many things go wrong, you always like, you're trying to push it, and then like another small thing and another flat tire. And you're like, oh, this is just ridiculous. And then like, yeah, everything's falling apart.
In my view, you can't stop having bad times. They are going to happen. But you need to kind of somehow sit outside yourself going, okay, I'm having a really bad day here. I just need to let that happen.
It's not the easiest course I've seen.
So when you're doing it well, I think that's what you do well. And when you're not doing it well, which happens, you get consumed by it.
The Bullock Bow saddle was hard to do, but the Dampier range was still way worse. I hope I will never need to go there again.
Early start this morning, about 4:30 I was up at the Harper campsite to nurse a seriously mounted bike into Methven for repairs. A couple of days ago the lever on my rear through axle snapped, so I've ridden the last couple of days unable to take the rear wheel off. And then last night riding the steep tramping track down from Cass Saddle to Hamilton Hut. Went over a bank, the bike cartwheeled about 30 metres, crashed into a creek bed, broken the rear brake lever, and then soon after that I rode over a rotten log, destroyed my rear derailleur. So miraculously Big Al's bike shop had all the parts necessary. By the time I'd had a feed at the cafe next door, I was back up and running. So really relieved to still be in this and just thoroughly enjoying it.
My plan is to kind of ride from maybe 3:30 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, with obviously a few stops to have a break and eat and refuel at places where we can get more food. I'm not sure how I'm going to go because I've never given this type of length of racing, like length of time, day after day after day. I'm not sure how I'm going to cope, but I think mentally I'm up to it. We'll just see how I am physically.
When you get into something that is so physically and mentally challenging, you can't really hide anything from yourself or from, in adventure racing, your teammates. So in this case, you have to be honest with yourself if you want to keep going or not. adventure racing, I'm used to being at the front. Bike racing, I'd be not at the front, probably mid-pack. So it'd be interesting to see how this plays out. It isn't really like anything I've done before. I've been tossing it up in my mind whether I'm there to compete. The more time I spend training, the more time I land on the side of I'm there to compete.
For sure, there's going to be lots of moments where I think, whoa, what am I doing out here? This is crazy. And I think that's going to be a big part of this race, is making good decisions, and I want to try and keep my body right so that I'm not making poor decisions and putting myself at danger. That was really tough. That was stags, that all nearly broke my back. I gave some of my food away today and I'm regretting that now. So yeah, get to Te Waipounamu and make some decisions. Cycling is definitely a massive part of my life now. I've got 8 bikes. I probably use 6 out of the 8 to have become almost obsolete, but I can't get rid of them now. So I like all types of biking, from cyclocross to road biking to enduro, gnarly type riding, to cross-country events, and now bikepacking, because it's a great way to see the world and get to places quicker rather than just going by foot. Yeah, it's kind of nice when you have no real plan, but you have part of a plan. You think, I want to get this far today, but it doesn't matter if I don't. And along the way you're sort of thinking, oh, that looks like a good place to sleep, but it's too early to stop right now, let's just keep going. And maybe you're coming to a town and you'll book into a pub or a backpackers or something and wash your clothes and have a freshen up, and away you go again.
Fixed the rear one, did the front one, found out the tube had a hole in it already. Tried to fix that, but it was covered in sealant, and then found out the rear one had a massive gash in it. It's going down the hill, that went flat again, so it's just filled with packets of stuff. This one just started going down again as well, so I think there might be another sidewall tear. So we'll fix that and stay in Te Waipounamu tonight. It's been good. Beautiful though. Holy shit, couldn't be a better place. Other than the fact I'm super sunburnt. Pretty stoked.
Hi there, this is the plotter's post on day 5. Day 5 hasn't actually drawn to a close yet. I'm still well over an hour away from the hut. Just while there is a bit of daylight, I just want to share with you what I think is the essence of this event, and that is the high country riding. Early morning sunrises, charging down high country valleys with the sun just hitting the peaks. But also really fortunate that wonderful people like the Prouting family here in Mesopotamia Station have trusted us to pass through their property respectfully.
See my legs at the moment? They're double as thick as normal because they're full of fluid.
Same.
Oh right. Jeez. And I feel like they're like solid.
Oh,
I had a good chat with the Mount Bunkies earlier, that was good.
It's might have killed it. Oh, both carcasses are completely torn, so they won't hold tubes.
Right.
So.
Won't even hold tubes?
No. Just been riding off flat tyres to get that. You guys heading off?
Yeah, got a plan.
Some of the best riding and carrying that I think I've ever done. That was awesome.
Today
was amazing.
Today was just ludicrous.
Other than the 6 hours of battling punches.
I have never spent so long doing things at the absolute, full power capacity trying to shift my bike. It's like it takes every effort you can make to move your bike sometimes, this far. And then you do it 10 times in a row in 2 minutes, and you're like, I can't, it's like it's time, especially.
So bikepacking for me is like being a homeless person and going for adventures and just putting aside all these modern comforts that we come to rely upon that really softened us, and really getting in touch with that fundamental evolutionary thing of how we survived as a race was travelling long distances, hunting down animals not from speed but from just pure endurance and being able to wear them down. And I find myself really connecting with, you know, what humans are and what is the purpose of us when I'm out doing these adventures.
Hey, this is Ollie. I think it's about 1 AM. Don't know where the heck I am. Just thought I would make a bit of a video because I've been having some really good conversations. I don't know if that's in my head or if they're real ones. Lots of weird shit going on, like can't really tell if the road is going up or down. I'm pedaling like it's going up, but it kind of feels a bit effortless, like I've got an e-bike or something, or there's a tailwind pushing me up the hill. Something else that's pretty confusing is the recurring sense of deja vu. Like everywhere I've been at night, or I've been before, same trails, and yeah, I can't shake it. So I'm wrapped up all warm, I got all my warm gear on, just seeing where the night takes me, hoping that I don't fall asleep and that I get to Slope Point some stage. Give it a try. Bye.
So this is Matt and Ollie approaching the Hillary Step of Stag Saddle. The Stag Saddle Great Wall of Death. You might be able to see Brendan in the distance ploughing his way up it. Yeah, just a steep slope with no real track.
Yeah, so strategy wise, I think because I haven't had the chance to do the big days of training, I'm going to have to look after myself, and I'll go in with a loose plan of where I want to get to each day. And be ready to adapt to whatever happens. I think I'm a naturally competitive person, and it's not within my spirit to not do my absolute best and put it all on the line. Given my family situation, I would say I've been riding quite a bit less. I'd say it's had a bit of a pivot, to borrow a modern parlance. And it's not something I regret by any means. I think it's amazing to have a young son and to see the world through his eyes. But it certainly meant, 20-hour weeks of riding and back-to-back 200k days on a weekend. A thing of the past. It's kind of a selfish endeavour. That it's forced me to kind of think back to what got me through some of those tougher days. So some of the events like the Le Petit Brevet at Banks Peninsula, really tough days there when you're packing in 7,000 vertical into a day. Or some of that Great Southern Brevet, or some of the tough days on the Tour Divide. Yeah, really thinking about that mental toughness as opposed to the physical preparation.
I was expecting the first people to be home in around 6 days, but Having talked to some of the faster riders, they think it'll be a little bit faster than that. So they'll probably be finishing in 5 days plus a bit more.
I think the physical thing I find hardest. The constant wearing down, the same movements over and over again, the pressure points on the hands and on the bum. Because I just love riding a bike so much, I always find, and the whole purpose of bikepacking to cover the distance is super motivating, and it allows me to kind of push through and to get to the next destination.
How you feeling?
Yeah, feet are actually pretty sore. I should get them out, but I'll have to put them back in. It's pretty painful. Otherwise, hands are really good. I can't do, that kind of doesn't work where that works, so that's good. Butt's good. Just really tired. I think 38 hours of riding will probably do that, so see how that plays out over the next few days.
Hi there, this is the Plotter's Post for day 7. Yesterday started out well. 4 of us had hit the reset button after a tough day getting to Tekapo. We stayed in the salubrious new Tekapo YHA, which was quite weird after 6 days of roughing it. Got some real food. That was a burger, fries and beer for me, and a really good night's sleep. But yesterday got really hot really quickly, and coming over the high point in the Black Forest to Benmore Dam pylon route, I pulled out my phone to record Matt, who was just coming up behind me, and it quickly went out of its temperature operating range, just like its owner. So I really just had to back off yesterday, take it quietly in the heat, because I knew that in the cool of the evening I'd make good progress up through this vast Otiaki conservation area. So camped out about just over 1,000 metres up in the Hawkton Range. Yeah, lovely calm night, and really looking forward to making some good progress today.
Bikepacking, to me, has a sense of minimalism to it. If you just take just enough, there's a huge amount of freedom that comes with that. And in New Zealand, you know, I always think about it in terms of going tramping or hiking. Everything you need is you have with you and you carry with you, but you do it in a way that gives you a freedom to get into some amazing country.
Are you one of these people that wants it to hurt, or is it not about that?
It didn't start like that, but I've progressively pushed myself harder as I've realised what I can do. I quite enjoy back-to-back 18-hour days. Yeah, so yeah, I'll go until I'm tired and then camp up. My expectations are more around the experience than how long will it take. Bike riding's always been a form of sort of good for sort of mental health in terms of clearing your head. At the start of a ride you might not feel very well, or you've got something in your head that you're thinking about, and as the day goes on those things go and you think about other things. Yeah, my wife really understands the therapeutic benefits of cycling, for which I'm grateful.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I wouldn't want to be here. I want it to be home. So I followed the rule of don't scratch in the night. It's worked, I've kept going. So yeah, it's the first real probably chance for a late night long run. The route's quite different with all the sections with no camping, and then also very technical sections, so you've got to be very careful when you go into the night. It's been pretty tough, but a hell of an adventure. Taking bikes on truly inappropriate terrain for them. So it really has challenged the boundaries of what to do with a bike. Thoroughly enjoying it.
I do think about those people at the back, and sometimes I envy them. When you're going through what you know is a beautiful mountain, snow-capped mountain scene in the middle of the night, and you're kind of bleary-eyed, can't even see the line on your GPS, you're like, what is the point of this? But at the same time, I love how bikepacking means they can have their own journey. You know, it's the same course, but we will have seen completely different things and had different experiences.
I mean, it's been awesome so far. I just don't do well on the heat, hey? Completely melting. It's not. I love the technical tracks, I love the mountains and the tarns and the bush, and then you come here and it's just like the New Zealand outback. It's relentless. So yeah, I think my plan from here is going to be, I was actually just pondering it on the way down. There was two voices inside my head, like there are on lots of adventures. One of them's going, come on Dokara, you can finish it in 9 days, just push it, suffer a bit. And then the other voice is like, oh man, it looks like a really nice swim in the lake over there. You could just like chill out a bit and have some more fun. My plan is actually to stay here probably for like 5 hours and then continue into the night.
The weird thing about this race is there's no like second half of the field. None of us are used to being last.
It's the race for last.
Just awesome.
Well, we're trying to stay last. Have fun and stay last.
Yeah. You've got competition now.
Yeah. You've seen the good times.
We want it too. The funny thing is, it's like we're last, but look how big our days have been still. It's like,
I know.
How's it been, Brenda?
And good and bad. A lot more better than bad, actually.
Yeah, I've surprised myself. I've learned how to carry a bike. It's taken me, what, 3 or 4 days?
It's quite a headbutt. But enjoying it now. But there were some times there that were like, bloody hell. I'm going to kick him in the balls next time I see him.
It's been hard. But I expected it to be hard, but it's been harder than I expected. Yeah. It's nice to be able to ride again and not have to carry and not keep kicking my legs on my pedals.
Thought you were stopping for 5 hours.
That was my plan, but I can't bear to see everyone go off and be left. It's more like it's a psychological thing, you know. And the breeze is pretty good.
Leave you to it.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
I had a bit of an altercation with a tree. Yeah, don't look at your GPS while you're riding in a forest.
Hot day, out in central Otago, no shade, no water.
In the desert.
In the desert.
Good weather, punishing trails. See you shortly.
It's tough. It's been tough. Extremely tough.
Okay, so how does it compare to the Tour Te Waipounamu?
It's way harder from a riding perspective. Tour Te Waipounamu has other challenges, but this is way harder. Way harder.
So does it compare to anything else, Peter?
No, it doesn't compare to anything at all that I've done.
Is that good or bad?
It's different. But way harder than anything I've done. Way harder. Also, well rewarding.
Happy with your gear choice?
No, I'd like to go lower. 2x10 currently here. I will drop it to a 24 ring and a 40 or a 42 cassette. Currently running a 36. So, yeah, for fatigue legs, definitely need to go a bit lower. I'm going to retire after this race. This is my last one. I'm done.
What about Mark Watson? After the Achilles problem, he's steaming along. You're feeling rubbish. You can always ride another 15 k's, can't you? The track at some places like this, and so there's just no room for a bike, and your feet's fine if you're just a tramper. You're walking up these slopes, and the pedals just smashing against the car.
I'll tell you what, for Brian to do this, I mean, all the planning, just coming up with it, all the planning, I've so much respect for him. Such an event, it's just damn hard. Damn hard.
If you can you sum it up in a sentence or two?
I could, just one word will do, brutal. Yeah, but a great challenge, you know? Yeah. Yep. So a bit emotional. Yeah, right, when I finished. I just didn't, yeah. I knew it was going to be tough,
But not this tough.
It all started off pretty well. Rode a lot further than I thought I would the first day. Got right into Hope Kiwi Lodge on the second night. Went over the Dampier range pretty well and the not so good weather, got bloody cold. But sometime during that my Achilles started to get sore. I think possibly just from pushing a bit longer than I expected to on the first day. Developed a bit of inflammation. First in this one came up and then actually settled back down, and then this one got sore, and then going over the Dampier range just seemed to completely stuff it up. So it reached the point where the tendon's squeaking really badly in the sheath and it started to look bruised and it's swelled a lot. So I grovelled in quite a lot of pain over Cass Saddle and out down the Harper and out to Methven, and by the time I got there I could hardly walk. Arrived at 11 o'clock at night. Stayed in Methven for 36 hours, spent 19 of those asleep. So by the following day, I woke up about 8 o'clock in the morning and swelling had gone down enough and the pain had subsided enough that I thought it was worth giving it a shot. You know, I'm not a giver-upper, and I put so much preparation into this that it was really, really important to me to try to finish it in whatever state I am, and it seemed to me that maybe it's worth doing, suffering a little bit of medium-term damage to the tendon to finish what I set out to achieve here, which was to complete Tour Te Waipounamu.
Hello Jeff. How you doing?
Looking forward to some takeaways, I think.
Let's see what's open.
Yeah.
I won't hold you back.
Yeah.
Ice cream, fuck yeah. They have all the things. What we've just done, we really should have died already, shouldn't we? You're looking a bit wonky. You're broken. Broken glasses.
Trying to load my bike over a fence and the handlebars swung around, smacked me in the face and broke my glasses.
I can't even get on my bike. Oh!
Yeah, it all started about 3 a.m. Awesome section the previous day up over Stag Saddle, and then it was just beautiful Tekabo evening along that canal. I think that was the best part of the course because you had this like savage hard bit and then a beautiful smooth bit with the tailwind. So I just rolled, it was recovery, and then bivvied out by Lake Pukaki, and about 3 a.m. I heard Tony roll past, and I was like, what? So I quickly got out of my bivvy and rolled it all up and started chasing furiously, and about 3 hours in I finally checked the track. I thought I saw a light up ahead, but I was probably just hallucinating, and turns out he'd bivvied in a toilet about a minute up the road from when I'd seen him. So I thought I might as well just keep the day rolling. And the plan was always to do that last stretch as a full stint without a sleep, put myself in the red a little bit, and that's where I'm at now. And looks to have paid off. It was pretty dark times last night going through. I don't even know where I was. Yeah, it was pretty dark, and then falling asleep this morning. And then the sun came up and it was all good. And here we are in beautiful Southland with its beautiful wind and beautiful hills and Slope Point to finish. So it's pretty cool to be here.
For me, I've done a lot of stuff in the backcountry in New Zealand, but I have still seen so many different places and valleys and ridges and ranges on this ride that I hadn't been into before. So that was a really, really special opportunity to be able to see that sort of stuff and ride through it.
I think the main strategy will just be to finish, because I think it's the kind of event where not finishing more likely to be an outcome than other events that I've done, I would have thought, given the nature of the terrain.
I just crashed back there on a fucking road, 10k from the finish line. Nearly there. Obviously extremely happy to get it over and done with within 10 days. Better than I expected.
I'm glad it's over.
I'm glad it's over. Yeah. I'm still thinking about it and what it means and what we've done. And I think in time we'll get an understanding of the kind of craziness of the things that we did.
I think Brian's created and gifted an incredible event and course, and the relationships that he's built with the landowners have opened up a lot of opportunity for this, and I hope there's more editions of it to be held in the future, because it gives an amazing opportunity for people to get into some pretty locked up areas of New Zealand backcountry that we don't normally see, and there's a lot of amazing stuff out there that's, you know, well beyond the well-known areas. And I feel really lucky to have experienced it, and I definitely would consider doing it again.
So is Brian Alder still your friend?
I respect him as a crazy individual and his vision for putting that together and getting people to do it, because it's mind-blowing the stuff that's in there. And you're like, what the hell? But then the absurdity of it I was on the first hiker bike with Steve, and we were just like, can't believe we're here with our bikes hiking this. So I'd say he's still my friend, but I'll think twice before I do one of his events again. In terms of just the sheer physical challenge, you know, like I'm a man at my prime physical capability, and there were points where I couldn't put my arms out in front of me because they were so weak from having to drag my bike over a bush for 8 hours. So to reduce a person, a number of people to that kind of state, says a lot about the type of challenge. And yeah, I think incomparable. All the suffering will fade and it will just be like stoked on it, but I'm going to remember the suffering. I'm going to remember the suffering because there was some suffering.